for things not to be erased, for it not to be as if they had never existed. Not necessarily things that happened to me personally. I was never, for example, hired to live in the attic of an old house and spend hours talking with an old invalid, the way Shmuel Ash was in Judas. That did not happen to me. But there were people in Jerusalem who talked a bit like Gershom Wald did. They existed, and now they are gone. I wanted that to be remembered. That Jerusalem of the fiery intellectuals, who stood with one foot in Joseph Chaim Brenner and one in the Bible, and another foot in Ben-Gurion's court, and yet another in Nietzsche, and another in Dostoevsky.
Do you feel that your motivations for writing have changed over the years, or have they remained essentially similar?
I don't know, Shira. I think they're the same, but I'm not certain. I hardly ever ask myself about my motivations for writing. When I sit here before 5 a.m., after walking the empty streets with my first cup of coffee, I never ask myself what the motivation is. I just write.
But do you ask where the story comes from?
Yes. Yes. Sometimes I do. But I don't always find an answer. I'll tell you something related to what you asked. I once translated a Russian poem by Anna Akhmatova, but I translated it from Stephen Berg's English translation, because I don't know any Russian. And this poem touches exactly on your question. I typed it on a typewriter before there were computers. Here is how the poem ends. And sometimes I sit. Here. Frozen sea winds blow through my open windows. I do not get up. I do not shut. I allow the wind to touch me. Freeze. Evening twilight or early dawn, the same shimmering cloud brights. A dove pecks a wheat seed from my palm held out. And this space, borderless, the whiteness of paper on my writing page, a solitary vague urge lifts my right hand, leads me, far more aged than me. It comes down, blue as an eyelid, godless, and I begin to write.
That's beautiful.
I'm not a translator, but I wanted to translate that poem from English. Perhaps in Russian it's even more beautiful. I don't know. Every so often, I ask myself where the stories come from, and I don't really have an answer. Look, on the one hand, I do know because I've always lived the life of a spy. It's written in a tale of love and darkness. I listen to other people's conversations. I watch strangers. And when I'm in line at the doctor's clinic or the train station or the airport, I never read the paper. Instead of reading the paper, I hear what people are saying. I steal fragments of conversations and complete them myself. Or else I look at clothes or shoes. Shoes always tell me a lot. I look at people. I listen. My neighbor on kibbutz Hulda, Meyers Sibahi, used to say, every time I walk past the window of the room where Amos writes, I stop for a moment, take my comb out and comb my hair, so that if I end up in one of his stories, I'll be neatly groomed. It makes a lot of sense, but that's not how it works with me. Let's say, an apple. Take an apple. What makes an apple? Water, earth, sun, an apple tree, and a bit of fertilizer. But it doesn't look like any of those things. It's made of them, but it's not like them. That's how a story is. It certainly is made up of the sum of encounters and experiences and listening. My initial urge is to guess what I might feel if I were him or if I were her. What would I think? What would I want? What would I feel ashamed of? What, for example, would I hope that no one in the world should know about me? What would I wear? What would I eat? This urge has always been with me, even before I started writing stories, since childhood. I was an only child, and I did not have any friends. My parents would take me to a cafe on Ben Yehuda Street in Jerusalem, and they would promise me an ice cream if I sat quiet.